Thank you so much for participating on this event. I will start directly presenting the guests, and the first one is Alina Rus, which represents the National Cybersecurity Directorate. Călin Rangu, your Council Vice President and President of the Chamber of Commercial Diplomacy with the Swiss Confederation. Sergiu Zaharia, well now, Director Cyber Strategy Advisor, Deloitte, Romania. Mihai Doană, Regional Sales Manager, Palo Alto Networks, and Sebastian Cochinescu, our friend, CEO, Tailpath. And the first question is for Sergiu. Sergiu, please. What does cyber resilience mean nowadays? If you can tell us, please.
Yes. Before explaining what cyber resilience means today, what I would like to say that it's not a binary concept, meaning it's not like you are cyber resilient or not. It's more like a fuzzy logic here. We speak about maturity level of cybersecurity. But to answer your question very, very simple, imagine that cyber resilience, full cyber resilience, is when the Chief Information Security Officer...
It is possible full cyber resilience? Sorry, because I interrupted you.
Just an exaggeration.
Okay.
The full cyber resilience means when the CISO is going through the office of a corporation, is looking to the hackers that are on-prem in the network. The CISO knows them, can see them, touch them, and the CISO is looking with compassion with those hackers. That's full cyber resilience, which of course does not exist.
A really interesting metaphor.
Yes. So why is this confidence of the CISO so high? Because he or she knows that they have all sort of, for example, segmentation. Information is segmented. People are segmented, meaning their knowledge is segmented. Everything is segmented at technical and process level. Zero trust is implemented, and so on and so on. The full defense in depth concept is there, applied consistently and using people processes technology. So this is the first thing that can explain cyber resilience. Of course, for more details, there are NIST standards like this 160 standard volume 2. It has 265 pages for details about cyber resilience and how to implement this. Probably nobody read this NIST paper in detail, not even the authors.
I cannot be agree with you. I cannot be agree with you. But anyhow, I think that many organizations that read that book extremely carefully, just to be advisor for other companies or for themselves or to protect themselves. Anyhow, sorry again for interruption.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Anyway, what is important is why cyber resilience now is is let's say trending as a concept since, I don't know, more than 10 years now. Because now you have to ensure this, let's say, security and resilience at the smallest unit possible, meaning on small device, on a person. For example, to ensure the resilience of an application so high that there is no need for a firewall protecting that application, meaning resilience in every device or solution or people you have in the organization. So this is cyber resilience, is a concept that moves the security toward the most, let's say, granular unit in the organization. And just to end my first intervention today, this cyber resilience now is important to be very, let's say, fast. Meaning, imagine a connected car on a highway, connected to the sidewalk infrastructure. You don't have time to assess the events on that connected car in a CM, on a security operations center, and then create an incident response team and react. okay, the car itself has to be resilient near real time in front of cyber attacks.
Thank you so much. Sergio. I am expecting the next your intervention to introduce us the steps for a really good cyber resilience and the pylons, main pylons for a good resilience. Until then, Alina, what about the human factor in ensuring cyber resilience? Your opinion, please. Alina, if you can unlock your microphone.
Sorry, now it works?
That's okay. That's okay. Perfect.
So building a bit on what Sergio said, with our new very famous triad, in cybersecurity, it used to always be CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And now we have this new triad that we use everywhere when it comes to resilience, which is people, processes, technologies. And when it comes to resilience, people are so very important, because they're not just, instruments that you can have predictability on their behavior.
The main important key, and actually the main vulnerable key.
The main vulnerable key. So I want to bring today an example that I just heard a month ago. In France, they're doing exercises, cybersecurity exercises with hundreds of hospitals. So what happened in one of the hospitals was that all the setup was ready, the exercises was ready to go, and then the CISO just froze. He basically froze. He didn't know what to do, and it was an exercise. They were simulating like a ransomware attack. And you know what happened? The emergency room doctors took over the situation, because they, being in the ICU, normally they know how to react under pressure and in crisis situations. And they sort of like quickly looked at the procedures and basically saved the day, let's say. And what I want to bring as a first conclusion into this is that it is so very important to also have a resilient mindset for the people working in a certain organization. So we at the National Cybersecurity Directorate, we do all sorts of workshops and events and conferences where we bring together people from the public sector, from the private sector. And even this morning, I've had this conversation that has already happened so many times, which is, how can you have resilience when perhaps your cybersecurity at a public institution is only relying on one or two people who might even go to be on the verge of burnout? I know the myth of, you have people working in public institutions that don't do much and so on and so forth. But the ones that do, and the ones that do feel the pressure of what's happening if we're going to be hit by a cyber attack, they very often are, the ones who do it all, some sort of factotum, And if you don't have them be resilient as well, you might have fatigue, like alert fatigue, how you can, something that is a really common phenomenon with people working in monitoring cyber alerts, and they might not be, focused enough, awake enough that day to see what's happening. You also have this type of burnout that is quite well recognized in the private sector when we have teams who work on incident response. So, when we talk about resilience, and I know that we are going to continue to talk about this
human factor regarding resilience.
Yes, human factor is really relevant beyond the fact that, people are the ones who are going to write the procedures. They're the ones who are going to use the technology or not in a right way or not. They're going to be the ones who have to respond to incidents. But we have to look at this phenomenon in more ways than one. And this is why, for example, having these type of cyber exercises, both tabletop and technical, is so very relevant. And I just want to add one more point to that. It is also very important to have this type of exercises, not only at a national level, when the directorate or any other institution, brings people together. These are very valuable for the IT team. Like, Cydex was last week. That is absolutely brilliant. But we also encourage entities to do their own simulations, do their own scenarios, because what you can see in the private sector, and the gap, by the way, between public and private keeps on growing in Romania, and I'm sure that the other guests can confirm, is that when you have private entities who do exercises, they see how they get better year by year. They can actually see the results of what's happening and all of the phishing exercises, campaigns, and so on. So we have to start having this type of exercises in the public sector as well, and have them, at least, for the beginning, have them discuss some scenarios and see what they would do, who they would put in the team, how their communication process would go, etc. So yeah, I'll just stop there for now.
Thank you so much, Alina. Until Kalin will join us, I would like to ask Mihai what advice he gives to those who have problems with human resources and cybersecurity specialists who are increasingly rare in Romania, but not only internationally. I can say in Europe and in other parts of meridians, other parts of the world. Please, Mihai.
Thank you, Mircea, for your question. I will not address the salary.
No, not at all. Please.
A very hot topic. But what we have seen discussing with a lot of people involved in management in IT, like CISO, CIO, position is that usually they get good people, but they stay too much in a lot of alerts, a lot of noise in their systems, so that they get bored. They do a lot of things that are not automized. So there is no automation into their tools. So they work a lot. They have a lot of alerts. They use a lot of tools that do not communicate one with each other. At some point, they get bored. They are not doing interesting stuff anymore. So my message to how to keep these good people stay more in your organization is to give them the necessary tools, invest in your people, allow them to go to exercises, as Alina mentioned earlier, Cydex or others in the private sector maybe, so that the people will know exactly what's behind that door, because I'm working for a cybersecurity company, but I understand for the customers that it's very tough. They have a lot of offers, proposals from a lot of companies. It's a lot of noise there, and it's very difficult for them to understand which is better, which is doing some things different than others. So they are attacked by these companies, integrators, audits, all of this stuff. So I think one of the most important to underline here is to use best of the technologies that have a lot of automatization, and it's much easier to eliminate the complexity, so that they can do really, really nice and interesting stuff for them, so that they are motivated, to learn more and have more time for to study. I think this should be my takeaway out of this question.
Thank you so much, Mihai. I say hello to Kalin. Kalin, do you hear us, please? If not, because I know that is in his way. Okay. Sebastian, what is the importance of privacy, please?
If the most common, yes, sure. Thank you for your question. And what is the importance of privacy? I would say that usually people tell me that they have nothing to hide. That's the default answer when I'm trying to make people aware of the dangers of not being careful enough online. And they say, but I have nothing to hide. I have nothing on my phone. I've got nothing so important that it's maybe interesting to anyone. And for that, I have a quick story that I tell them and makes them understand that privacy is important. And I say like this: imagine you are at home at night and there is a person behind you 10 centimeters away in your private space that just looks at what you are doing and writes down on a notebook. And it's writing down, okay, he went to bed at 10 p.m., woke up at 3 a.m. to drink some water, then checked the email, and then I ask the persons I'm talking to, does that sound okay? No, of course not. I would hate to have someone behind my back just writing down everything that I'm doing. And I am asking then, but you have nothing to hide. Everyone sleeps. Everyone drinks some water maybe sometimes during the night, and everyone checks their email. However, you did not like the fact of being monitored and surveilled, and this is what privacy is about. You should have the right to be private and to act accordingly, even if you don't have anything to hide, right? So there is no direct connection between you being an important person or a person of interest or having a potential target. It's about you being allowed to be yourself with your private stuff. So
partial agree with you.
It.
Partial agree with you, except you're a criminal. You're a, cyber.
Well, if you are a criminal, then
okay.
In prison there is no privacy, so it should be applied also in the cyber world.
It's until then. It's just to
if
search.
You are a criminal, if you have someone has a warrant to and the actual reasons, legal reasons to prosecute you, then of course privacy is something that of course has its limits. The freedom of being private stops when you became a criminal, right? So the same as in prison, you do not have a special room just to yourself because you need to be private, right? Most likely.
From where I understood from you, it's if I'm criminal and I have a dark website, something like this, I must keep my privacy in front of institutions.
Well, that's not privacy. Like this,
that's just plain hiding. Until I'm in the court, I must be private and I do my job like a criminal, or what do you want to make?
Well, this is not a privacy issue. This is just a plain and simple hiding. So if a criminal wants to do bad stuff, most likely cannot hide behind the wall of privacy, because privacy is applied to legitimate businesses and people. When you start doing bad stuff, I don't think it's you can hide behind this excuse that your privacy is important and you should you should be spared of the law.
Understand pretty well, Sebastian. Thank you so much. Privacy, it's good, but with limits, and the limits are established by the law, and the law are issued by institutions, and so, and everybody must follow the rules. Kalin, welcome. Glad to join us. First question.
My pleasure. Thank you for your invitation.
Yes. First question for Kalin. What does GenAI and GenAI adoption mean? If you can explain us, please.
I choose this subject because it's clear this GenAI is difficult to be understand. People are speaking...
Actually, I chose him. I chose it.
Okay. And from this reason, because being difficult to be understand, and all people are speaking like they are specialists now in football and AI in similar manner sometimes, we should see exactly that this is a main dangerous business proposal of companies, and should be treated in a different way than normal IT implementation. Because many people do not know how it works and how to use or implement it. And this is clear counterproductive, because AI has a lot of advantages, and applications of AI can be create a lot of competitive advantages for companies. But at the same time can create security breaches. And implementing in-house GenAI capabilities has technical challenges. Not only because it's computationally expensive and inefficient, but the expertise is scarce. And the lack of competencies in general, lack of professionalism, are creating the main breaches because we are looking a lot how smart are the hackers and so on, but they are smarter than us because we are not sufficient smarter. We don't have sufficient experience. We don't have the correct people involved. We don't have the professional services to providers to give to us and so on. But if we don't look from a technical perspective, from a business perspective, Gen AI is clear, bring an increase of productivity of the staff, smarter decisions covering customer-centric analytics. That is very important to establish patterns for the clients and to come with dedicated product, the design product dedicated to specific clients, more granular. And not the least, Gen AI can save a lot of IT spending if you know how to do it. According to Gartner, generative AI is a key part of the society in which people and machines are working together. Of course, this can be scaring for some guys, but we are very far to be scared of AI. In this moment, our algorithms created by people for people, not AI are generating life in artificial life. Yet it's only what the people are doing. So Gen AI has a different impact on the industry than any other tech trends, and we have seen so far. I found some interesting statistic in a paper of Software One with a leading company in related services. And Gen AI has captured interest across the business population. It's clear individuals across the regions, industries, seniority level are using not only for work, also outside of the work for own productivity. And these statistics show that 79%, that is quite high of respondents, say that they've had at least some exposure to this generative AI, either work or outside work, more outside of the work. And 22% say that they are regularly using it in their own work. Also, if you are looking to McKinsey, generative AI has become widely accessible online and refer to programs and algorithms that use deep learning to create art, music, creative content, and so on. So the most well-known example of 2024, this ChatGPT and OpenAI, like a basic technology. Now, probably in 2023, will be the time for professional platforms. And today I was very interested to see in an upgrade of the browser. You can see that now is not appearing more ChatGPT there, it's appearing this Copilot. Copilot practically it's a new initiative of Microsoft that try to bring together these business aspects and to be more professional that ChatGPT, who is very popular, but is not trustful if you are wishing to do real things and have trust in the system. Probably this new approach of Microsoft will bring more trust and more credibility of this generative AI in future, and we can adopt better in our companies together with help of specialists who knows better also than myself what means in real manner from technical perspective.
Thank you so much, Kalin. We'll see in the future, we'll count how trusted could be an artificial intelligence or one algorithm applied for machine learning, subsequent of artificial intelligence or not. The naturals are not trusted, but the artificials, like just like a joke. Anyhow, Sergiu.
1 second to tell to you, because I open now to see this. It's very interesting. If you are in the browser, Microsoft browser, now their disclaimer is Copilot is powered by AI, so surprises and mistakes are possible. So their approach is interesting.
It's an honest warning. It's an honest warning, and it's okay from my perspective. Thank you so much, Kalin. Sergiu, how the new trends in artificial intelligence impact cyber resilience?
Yes,
in your opinion?
Taking this message from Kalin, actually, it's about hallucinations and something. What I say now is not a hallucination. I researched a lot of the AI implication in software. Okay, AI is already, or machine learning, let's say, the beginning has been used in cybersecurity since
machine learning is different stuff. It's different stuff of
yes,
artificial.
but in the last decade we see also machine learning and natural language processing concepts and AI being used in what is actually the most the biggest attack surface for the hackers, like the software, and you can challenge.
Delicate subject, because artificial intelligence starts around 1956, if I well remember, and if you start to speak about attack surface, we can speak before about what's mean surface, how exposed is the surface, in which conditions.
Okay, if we speak about 80s or 70s, what I can tell you is also in the software, in 86, it was a paper, academic paper from the MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. So they had this laboratory in these years. And it was the programmer's apprentice, and they tried to generate source code using AI algorithms. It's public. It's the programmer's apprentice. It's a paper, and they managed to do at some extent, but they also stated that it's not quite easy to do this. Today we see in the software, at least, that using different models like ChatGPT, BERT, large language model based in general, they can generate code, source code, but not only generating source code, because this is now okay. We are used now to do this, but these models can train the software developers how to write securely the source code, and also these solutions are now able to secure the software. Okay, so even ChatGPT, it was that version 3.5, if I remember well. So not having all the data about vulnerabilities, for example, current vulnerabilities, has been asked to produce some code, and the model produced code, source code, and then he was asked, why did you produce this code with security vulnerability inside? And ChatGPT said, okay, because you didn't tell me to secure it. And then the model was able to secure more than 50% of the code that was
Sergio, please name 3 different new trends for now.
New trends. So
yes,
first of
3
all,
different names then, and after the
yes.
start
So
to explain them.
Let's try
introduce to us.
Let's try to count. First of all, we see, for example, this code generation, secure code generation. I named this self-healing because this code has the property to self-secure. Okay. Using, of course, this AI-based solution.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, so this is one trend that we can see in the software.
Second one.
The second one is pedagogical tool provided by this large language model base, because they have access to huge databases of
pedagogical medical tools,
like a system expert system. Of course, it can produce hallucinations and something like that, but it's a positive training, meaning you can apply or not this training. And what we can see also let's move from the software side, because I don't want to speak only about the software. We see that AI-based solutions are embedded now in those devices like connected cars that need quick reaction in case of attack. Okay, because you don't, Alina also mentioned, you have something like burnout around for the people in the SOC, in operating systems and something like that, system of reactions, not technical systems. And now we can see that everything starts to be replaced by AI modules that also make a decision. So this in the academic research is a concept which is becoming more and more mature. It's not fully embedded, and Kalin said we don't know exactly what to do as a society, how to implement everything in a reliable way. So we need to take care of that. But the trend, we can see it. So these
just
are
just as a joke about hardware involved in artificial intelligence. Do you want to mean that one robot machine is not created but evolved from a vacuum cleaner?
It's not just like that.
Yeah.
At least to have a vacuum.
The last part of your speech sounded like this. Anyhow, Mihai, how is Palo Alto Networks involved in supporting the local and international cybersecurity market, please?
The local and the international market are the same, even if there are more resources in more evolved countries. This is the main difference. But for us, the programs are the same. As other colleagues of this panel mentioned, human resources is very important in cybersecurity. That's why even if you have the best tools, if they are not configured properly or not integrated properly, it's zero. It's the same. So our first thing that I will mention is that we are investing in academy program where, for example, we have enrolled even in Romania a lot of universities. It's about 14 universities in Romania that are enrolled. About this program, just short, they nominate a person that takes certifications, technical certifications with us, and then they get free technology and courses, specialized programs, so that they can train the people. It's a train the trainer program, and they can run some cybersecurity courses, specialized courses inside the universities. This is one. I think it was mentioning our famous Unit 42 Threat Intelligence Department, which has a lot of insights in a big data lake. They are doing their own researches. They're helping our customers. But I will prefer now to mention the free things or that is available out of this famous organization. For example, this year, they managed to do an investigation, and this was published in Hot News in Romania as well, where Unit 42 managed to detect some targeted diplomats in Ukraine from the embassies that were receiving some emails with some promotions on cheap BMWs. And the main purpose was of course, to click some links so that they can get some inside credentials and information about it. This I think it's a good example of how this unit is helping, all the people out there about means how to protect about this kind of threats. And the last thing I will mention is that how we make awareness in our entire environment of customers, partners, distributors. The moment a person is more interested to learn more about Palo Alto Networks, we help them with a lot of trainings, even free certifications, hands-on laboratories. We really believe that before they start a POC with us, they get to test for real a product, a software or hardware one. It's important for them to be already familiar with some interfaces, to get to know some principles. And I think these three are for us some important activities that we do local and international for free.
Thank you so much, Mihai. Kalin, I'm coming back to you. Advantages and risks. What can you say about this topic?
Yeah, if we are looking what the market is saying, and I'm speaking here also from a CIO Council perspective, according to CIO.com, this AI is looking risky, immature, and full of promise in the same time. And from this reason, is forcing tech leaders to set challenges in many fronts and in real time, because the time don't have is not waiting us. Companies are asking for more services that are advisory on how generative AI can be used in their business. So new businesses are growing around this AI, because you need professionals on the subject. McKinsey Global Survey say that 21% of respondents reporting to AI adoption say their organization have established policies governing. Only 21%, that is quite low, because they need policies, how to govern and how the employees are using these AI technologies in their work. And this is not easy. I know from the bank, for us to implement all the processes, IT processes, now ISO 20000 took around 3 years. And we had also a specialized company to help us, but it was because we are working with people and people are afraid of change, and managing the change is very difficult in any companies. Don't matter that it's AI is looking so smart, but the people are having emotions, and you should balance emotions with AI performances. Looking to advantages, AI is clear, can optimize processes and automate repetitive tasks, leading to operational efficiencies and cost savings. Without AI, businesses continue to rely on classical processing, classical IT systems, or sometimes manual processes with higher cost and slower operations. AI-driven projects will benefit from this automation and advanced decision-making capabilities. But you need a supervised use of this artificial intelligence solution by own employees. Only in this way you can lead to security resilience, because we are speaking here about security.
If you allow me a new joke, perhaps we need a biologic AI that's to be supervisor of normal AI and so and so.
But it's clear all times new jobs are appearing, and we don't know how to define now very well, but they will appear naturally, in my opinion, because there are so many regulation rules around how to use and how are allowed to use AI in banking system, in financial system, in niche areas and so on, that is clear new jobs of supervision. So explainability is the most important concept. No, never financial authorities never will accept to use AI if the companies who are implementing are not capable to explain how AI is working. So don't mean that AI is something that it's from cosmos, is from galaxies, and no one knows what they are doing there. So from these reasons, advantages are more practical and are more close to actual needs of development. So an advantage also is this intelligence assistance, to understand people how to use, how to generate high quality with AI, because this is a goal in this moment. ChatGPT showed that the quality is not on the first place, but JI, if you are using correctly, can be a higher quality content provider. And from this reason, these natural language models allow quick retrieve process and use better the information. Risks, you ask about advantage and risk. Risks are clear, are organizational risk. Organization must mitigate risk by ensuring accurate deployment and effective resource allocation, or else it will not maintain a competitive edge for growth. Adoption risk, it will be very difficult for organization to adopt, speak and address employees to avoid the inefficient utilization of generative AI that can lead to a compromised decision-making and reduce overall effectiveness. You have also operational risks, create inefficiencies, delay, interruptions, potential losses, security risk. Business take measures to safeguard data against breaches, unauthorized access. Here I can look also to legal risk, GDPR, data protection, because in the moment when we are saying AI is thinking, we don't know what they are doing, it's very possible also that your data to be sent by AI to someone else, and in that moment you will have problems. So you should assure a proper collection, storage, processing, and so on. And not the last, because there I told you about one important concept, in my opinion, explainability. The second one is bias management. And reputational risk is the most important, because businesses may encounter repercussion if their AI systems perpetuate or amplify biases, undermining trust among customers and stakeholders. Maybe this risk is not the last, but can be one of the first risks, because trust is everything. And if an AI system is proved like a biasing system, in that moment, everything is lost, in my opinion.
Okay, I think that mitigation of risk imposed actually is by force to be regulated by including the insurance company in this game. It's different that cyber insurance, artificial intelligence insurance could mean something else much more complicated, and it's up of evolving of this
yeah, there are new emerging domains, what we are saying
yes,
now.
it's an emerging domain. But anyhow, Sebastian, how can we protect ourselves? And because I mentioned the surface attack area, what means ourselves?
Well, ourselves means ourselves, our businesses, our own private homes, computers, laptops, and the data on it. That is what it means. And well, there are several ways to protect ourselves. For once, there is this thing that we actually call hygiene, cybersecurity hygiene, which is there's a set of rules that we should all follow that are common sense. One of them would be not to store passwords in plain text files on our computers, or not to respond to phishing emails and to click on links. These are general things that we can do ourselves as private individuals, or even to restart the phone from time to time. This is an advisory that I got from someone from the US Department of Defense. You should at least once per 24 hours reset your phone, otherwise you could be prone to a zero-day attack. And as companies, we could, of course, hire cybersecurity companies, or make sure that our internal CIOs or CISOs are up to date. But whatever we do, and this is something that I would like to underline, we are actually not 100% safe at any time. And last week, funnily enough, when the Sidex exercise started, one of the major electronic signature providers in Romania felt under an attack of the type of ransomware attack and malware, and it was a major impact on a lot of. It was a cascading effect on a lot of institutions, including Ghișeul.ro and the SEAP, which are governmental websites and institutions that were affected by this. So when we say that we are safe, it's just something that we want to fool ourselves with. And in terms of protecting ourselves, be responsible enough to know that we are not safe, and follow the procedure that our internal CIOs advise us to, or as private individuals to at least be aware of some basic rules.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Interesting ideas. Alina, regarding awareness about cybersecurity, where are the main challenges? What are the best practices in your opinion? And sure, in opinion of the National Cybersecurity Directorate, please.
Well, thank you. I was actually listening closely to Sebastian, and the example he provided a bit earlier when he was having this imaginary conversation with someone. What about if you tell them, everything you do, every step you take could be, someone could know what you are doing. And I remember I sort of gave this exact example at an awareness session a couple of years ago. And I remember taking the people to every single step, with here is where you give information about your location, and here is where you give information about when you go to bed, and so on, with whom you talk to, and so on and so forth. And when it comes to raising awareness, this is such a topic that comes up at every single conference. It comes up at, every single workshop, and so on and so forth. And what we see at the National Cybersecurity Directorate is that at every single event that we have, we would have the participants come to us and say, we have huge issues with raising awareness at management level or at employee level, and because they're usually, the IT cybersecurity people. But then again, from our perspective, what we see is that you need to have different approaches in terms of raising awareness for management level, for IT and cybersecurity, because you also have some cognitive biases there that you have to work on defeating, and also a completely different approach for regular employees. Also, what we found and what we are working on to find a more adapted content is that like these awareness materials or courses or exercises or so on, they have to be differentiated from one sector to another, because different sectors have different issues where you have to work a lot in convincing people to change the approach they perhaps had for years. So you would have one type of issues in the medical sector and another type of issues in the energy sector, where many people have to sort of leave the old perspective of, my SCADA systems are isolated, so I'm safe and nothing can happen. And, the business side is not all that important. And, bring them to 2023, where everything is important. The business continuity part is important. And also the SCADA systems are not always fully isolated. This is something that we've also seen. And in terms of raising awareness, I want to give another example from abroad, not because everyone is facing the same problems. And it's another example from the medical sector. By coincidence, there was this new CISO at a Belgian hospital. And she shared this experience. She said, when I first took the job, a year and a half ago or something like that, so it's super recent, right? I was offered this big office and with a lovely view, and I was there all by myself, and I was able to do the work I needed, and I refused to stay there, she said, because I realized just by looking around that management does not care about cybersecurity. They just knew that they had to hire a CISO. Regular employees, really, they couldn't care less about any measures. We're talking about doctors, we're talking about nurses. They don't care about cybersecurity. This is not a concept they have time for. And then we're talking about her IT cybersecurity team, who were, a bit under pressure with all of their daily activities. And she was like, I'm not going to stay in this big office by myself. And what she did was that she had a super pushy, proactive attitude. And she said to the manager, you know what, 1 day per week, I'm going to sit in your office so that at every single thing that you have to do, I bring up, the relevance of cybersecurity. I'm going to spend the other 4 days together in the same office with my IT cybersecurity team and see what they are facing with. And during the day, I'm going to go through the hallways of the hospital and talk to nurses and talk to doctors. And she said that it took her basically 6 months of having this very, very proactive approach into seeing the results and seeing that people have started to be aware and have started to take cybersecurity seriously. So, sometimes when we look at ourselves in Romania, we tend to think perhaps it's only us that we have certain problems and everything is solved elsewhere in the EU or, across the globe. It's not really like that. And the people who work in this particular sector, they have so much work to do. Now, what we've also noticed at the directorate is that, and I mentioned this a bit earlier, we've noticed that the gap in terms of awareness between the private sector and the public sector is growing. We even noticed that you cannot perhaps even use the same type of presentations when you talk about raising awareness to representatives of the public sector and of the private sector, because in the private sector, they've started to be aware, top, bottom, and bottom up, while in the public sector, it's still this enclave of the IT cybersecurity departments department, people, employee, perhaps you only have one person.
Only one, yes, only
you know,
one.
And then the rest is just in many places it's disconnected. And I just want to close off with this. There is a lot of work to be done to see the results of awareness campaigns, activities, and so on. It can take a year, 2 years, 3 years. But I myself, I have seen people move from one side to another, from the super skeptical, I'm not giving resources to this cyber thing that I don't understand, to, you know what, I am going to give resources to this. I do on procedures. I will make sure that these procedures are implemented. I will let the employees know that they have to respect these procedures. So I have seen this type of transition from managers. We have seen transitions from, entire entities sort of move a bit towards the more educated side. But yes, it takes years. So you have to have a lot of patience and be very insistent with your message, and make sure that your message is targeted on the people you want to convince that cybersecurity matters. Otherwise, they will just shut down. Yeah.
You put it perfectly in the picture, the gaps, and I want to thank you a lot for this. I'll pass the floor to Mihai and ask him, how does Palo Alto Networks respond to increasingly sophisticated attacks? Mihai?
Well, Mircea, I think it's also related to the AI, because we see that AI is available for mostly everyone somehow. So not only the good actors are working with it, but also the bad actors. So one simple response, it will be like, choose the next solutions that you are implemented to be also driven by AI technologies. Because it's already there. The machines and the cybersecurity tools are already capable for a couple of years already to have AI components. I will just give you an example. It used to start with machine learning, where we are training we are telling some tools to identify specific patterns and to take decisions. But for some time we are discussing about deep learning, where the system is capable by itself to take decisions based on amount of data, where they have seen, for example, some similar URL links that might be infected or not, so that the system is capable to tell you a new URL it's malicious or not. Maybe not what category it is, but for sure if it's malicious or not. I think that the CIO and of course the CISO, where there is one, as Alina mentioned earlier, they must look into these new technologies that are already there and capable to fight the today and the tomorrow threats. On the other hand, speaking also about this gap between the public sector and the private sector, there is also a big gap between public sector in our country and public sector in other countries, because we are seeing more and more institutions abroad that are embracing cloud, more friendly, because they understood that, for example, these days you need a big amount of data to ingest a lot of alerts, a lot of logs somewhere, so that you can do threat hunting, so that you can...
You need power processing, you need space, you need less people, well-trained, much more well-trained in the same time, and using more powerful tools. You need resources at the end. But anyhow, sorry for interrupting you.
So I'm perfectly, I totally agree with you. This kind of cloud technologies are helping, to react faster to this kind of threats of attacks, and they can store logs and data for a long time. But nowadays, you can also choose where you want your data to stay, in Poland, in Germany, in whatever. So it can be in the EU. It's regulated. It brings a lot of proofs what happens exactly with your data. And it's also for example, we have seen institutions that are developing private clouds projects, but also have some connectivity also in the cloud in case of that data center, something happens with it, they can react very fast and move into the cloud. So they are going to this kind of directions. I think all this together with a lot of awareness will help our customers, let's say, be more prepared for these sophisticated attacks that we are facing these days.
Thank you so much, Mihai. I'll ask again, Călin, how do we, all of us, how do we adapt? Călin.
I think we should adapt ourselves being smart and using our natural intelligence and not
This is for the beginning. Just for the beginning, but anyhow, the artificial intelligence becomes smarter and smarter and smarter.
You should recognize that in this field, you know that you don't know sufficient, and from this reason, you should take help from others and people like here, like communities, associations, companies who are providing professional services, advisory services, all should work together to be more congruent in what they and we were doing. For an open AI implementation, we should take these new initiatives, take services and so on. So we have helps. How to adapt? Probably we should work backward from business objective to an AI transformation strategy and implementation roadmap. So I don't think we should make revolutions. We should take things step by step, using the same management working way finally, because the management principle and the business development should be in principle, the principle of all this should be the same. So we should identify high potential scenarios where AI can be leveraged in your business to drive outcomes, well-reasoned hypotheses regarding expected value. Finally, we should provide a value proposition to your clients. To prioritize use cases where can be a bigger leverage to drive business outcomes, to understand the licenses, security, compliance, data, organizational aspects. All this, when I'm teaching the students, management information system is not about technology. It's about society, organization, all around us, because technology, finally, it's a tool. So we should understand all these components, all these methods and smaller systems to put together in a big machine. So you need finally a deep experience in data, in AI, in digital workplace. Probably you don't have, and you should work with experienced teams in this manner. So it's quite early, it's our early days, but we use AI in already widespread. So although if we are looking to these statistics, McKinsey say that the current state of AI confirm an explosive growth of these tools of generative AI. Less than 1 year after many of these tools debated, 1/3 of survey respondents say that their organization are using in a way or other this one. So probably if we are looking to a Gartner wave, we are in yet on expected inflated expectations. After that, probably will be a sort of disillusion, and we'll find quite soon, I think, in 1, 2, 3 years, platform of productivity of all these tools. So AI has risen from a topic related to tech employees to a focus. They are moving from these tech employees to these leaders from top management. So C-suite executives say that they are personally interested in this one, and they are wishing to use the test to see how it is. 40% of respondents say their organization will increase in a way of other investments in AI overall because of these advances in generative AI. From security, it's clear. Data security company estimate that nearly 63 of data thefts are caused by lack of due diligence. So here it's important to have this evaluation, to have assessments, to do it in a professional way, because if we are not approach this AI in a professional way, only like gadgets and nice tools, can be very dangerous from a security perspective. So finally saying probably it's a step-by-step approach with a specialized assessment is the best approach. At company level is not a revolution, should be an evolution. Maybe the results to the clients should be a revolution if they will see a new customer experience. But inside of the companies should be evolution, because revolution sometimes can destroy also what is working well in this moment. So it's quite dangerous from this perspective.
Thank you so much, Kalin. And because you mentioned so many times security word, and Mihai mentioned cloud and power, and so we are connected to security and cloud. Just I want to remember the attendees who are next to us and perhaps who follow us. That in 19 October was launched Cloud Security Alliance, officially launched Cloud Security Alliance Romanian chapter. So I think that all of us will try to cover this area and we'll do the best on this domain, on this field. In this way, cybersecurity, cloud security, in particular, and but not only. Anyhow, coming back like in a circle, like in a circle to the cyber resilience question for Sergiu, how we measure and test cyber resilience, Sergiu, please.
Just to make an introduction to how to test it, I just want to congratulate you for this CSA Romania chapter. And I remember this cloud security metrics, which is actually one of the more detailed list of security requirements per types of cloud models like platform as a service, infrastructure, and software as a service, and so on. I think it's one of the most comprehensive security assessment tools that I've seen many years ago. And this is something that if you want to test how resilient you are on a scale from 1 to 5, for example, you need to apply a similar, let's say, metrics covering multiple domains, from cloud security to malware protection, identity and access management, and so on and so on. This is what we see now in the market. There are companies that are just assessing themselves against a deep dive security control metrics, we name it, and for example, assessing in 10,000, not 10, 3,000 points or 4,000 points. Why? Because resilience is protecting against hackers, and hackers are like water. Water will find a way. And the hacker will find a way, of course, if he or she has enough resources, time, and so on and so on. So what you have to do is to identify the weak spots, and then to do the...
We already identified it, the weak point. It's the man. The man is the weakest point in the chain. And you know the strength of the chain is given by the by the weakest ring. So
yes. So, but yes, I know, and believe me, I know this concept.
I know that you know,
because what and I also said in the past something, and I was challenged a lot on this. So with all the security awareness, which is a very good thing to do, with all this security awareness you do to your organization in general, you will find somebody that will be curious to click on that link, believing that the security of the organization is so strong that it
don't mention, please, the recent incidents. Please don't mention.
No, I will not mention any incident because it can happen to any company. Anyway, so what to conclude a little bit. So you need to do this deep dive assessment to identify weak spots and to control them, at least to know what are those weak spots, because you cannot fix them because you need investments, and we don't have infinite budgets. But at least you can do some displacement, meaning like in the physical security, you move your assets in the more secure areas. You control
create backup, create
backup, and so on and
backup,
so on.
and so yes.
So that's first. The second point is to test not only at process level like this deep dive assessment, but also to test at the technical level, meaning having pen testing, threat penetration testing, now introduced by digital operation resilience, for example, cyber exercises, red team, blue team, do whatever you want, scanning, meaning test at technical level, because otherwise only with processes you will not do too much. And not least to test, as Alina said, to do this tabletop exercises to test the, let's say, the management reaction to major incidents or crises, because these incidents and crises will come anyway. And you need to learn how to avoid reputational impact, to reduce, actually, you cannot avoid it, but at least to reduce the reputational impact. I've seen companies that were compromised at some extent, speaking about a cyber attack, compromised, and they had a very, very good communication strategy.
Yes, how to prevent, how to recover, how to understand, how to analyze, how to put in application, the learned lessons are the, the 5 steps.
Yes, so it's a mix. You need to test at process, technical, and human level, but also at the management level, and you will find something to improve, and you have to improve always, and you will go to that line which will tend to infinite. I don't know how to name it. It was a mathematical concept that we did. It's something like a saturation line, and you will invest a lot. At some point in time, this Pareto principle will not apply anymore. So it's just some very, very small place you will leave to the hackers to attack you. So that's, let's say, the ideal position an organization might have in cyber resilience, to tend to that level where if you invest $1 million, you will not solve too much.
I know you want to say that it's not about if, it's about when.
Exactly.
Something like this. Something in this case, Sebastian, can you comment? No one is 100 safe these days.
Sure, I can comment on that. So, and it's closely related to security as a state of mind. If you want to believe you are safe, it's great, but you are not, most likely. So no one is 100% safe means anyone is susceptible to an attack. Any company, any public institution, or any private person, private individual. So yesterday, someone I know that is a media company owner just got a Facebook page stolen by clicking a phishing link that impersonated Meta, and it is a very knowledgeable person, highly educated in cybersecurity, and he clicked on the link, which means that it can happen to any of us. And if, okay, let's say it cannot happen to me, I'm 100% hidden.
Can happen
from
to
the
anyone,
world.
anywhere, anywhen.
Exactly. But just to underline this, I want to tell you that I've met individuals that actually do not have phones, mobile phones or laptops, so that they can preserve their security. However, in this case, it will apply the physical security principles, which are that you can be attacked via a proxy. So, okay, you do not have a Facebook account or an Instagram account or whatever, but most likely your children have, or your spouse. And they become attack vectors for you if you are an important person or have important access to important information. So the takeaway here is either you do what we've discussed earlier, which is to have personal security hygiene, or you just accept that you are not 100% safe, and you take the measures that you can, which could be maybe not be so visible, or just not to be so arrogant and say I am 100% safe and no one can touch me, because this is not true for anyone in this world right now. It's just a matter of how important is the data that you own, and if that data is important enough, let's say for a state actor, you have no chance whatsoever in protecting it.
Oh, so okay, Alina, our friends introduced us to only scared scenario. So in this case, what are some of the main projects that the National Cybersecurity Directorate is currently undertaking? Please, just to combat them, or perhaps to improve them.
I have to say, I very much believe this no one is safe approach. But just before going to the National Cybersecurity Directorate's project, I have to say this was something that I had to, the perspective that Sebastian described can go in the other direction and sort of discourage certain entities into allocating too much resources towards cybersecurity, because they say, well, nothing will protect me anyway. If there's going to be a sophisticated attack, there's nothing really I can do. Even if I invest in this, like, what is going to be the effect? So maybe I'll just focus on having it all operational, and that will be the end of it. And I'll, having this type of discouragement. And we've seen it, perhaps not necessarily at a management level, but I did see it at like IT cybersecurity teams. And they would just say, I feel like if a complex cyber attack comes, there's really not much I can do. And there I want to bring forward this message from the directorate, which I think is really important, which is it matters a lot to slow down attackers. So yes, you will never be 100% safe, but attackers also go sometimes for the weakest target if they're like ransomware focused, financially focused groups. If there are state attackers, they might have deadlines, and they might need access to certain information that they want to exfiltrate up to a certain date, because otherwise it might not be relevant. So what I'm saying is that it is very important to focus when we talk about cybersecurity also on, it's worth slowing down the attacker. It's worth becoming a very difficult target. It's worth to have the attackers put you in the basket of, oh, there are so many resources we have to invest, people to allocate, and so on and so forth to go after them. So, let's refocus on something else or someone else. And I'm just saying, this, we also have to bear this in mind, that we're not safe, but we have to slow down attackers. Okay, so now I'll
fully agree. So in this situation, which are the main projects?
The main project, so now the directorate is very much focused, with the means that we have, in understanding the issues that...
Name the projects. And
well, I will say,
introduce to us.
Well, Mircea, there's the volunteer group on NIS2. I maybe know you know about this. I think this is one of the best projects that the directorate has now, because the whole idea behind it is we have to, and the directorate is responsible of this, we have to implement the NIS2 directive. And it's very important to look towards the market, let's say, and look at entities in the market and look at specialists and say, okay, like, how can we make sure that the legislation is built in a healthy way from the very beginning? So what happened was that there was a call for volunteers, and over 80 people applied. We're talking about pen testers, we're talking about, I don't know, people from consulting companies and so on and so forth. And now there are they have been selected, and now there are 4 groups who work on building legislation on 4 main topics, which is how do we identify the entities that have to follow the NIS2 directive, what should be the policies for risk assessment, and this is a topic I want to get back to, how to establish cybersecurity regulations in order to increase the cybersecurity level at operators, and also how to do the audit and supervision part. So I think this is a really great approach. Another thing that we've noticed for example, there's the ROCCH project focused on the health sector. And for example, we've noticed in one of the workshops that there were around 80 people from various entities from the health sector that were connected. We're talking about hospitals, ambulance services, like national insurance or county insurance institutions, and so on. And we did this live survey, and we realized that very few of them know how to do risk assessment and know how to do risk management. And when I'm saying very few, I'm saying, I don't know if overall there were around 10, perhaps, like a small minority. And so we've decided that we need to do, and we are already doing, workshops and projects in which to teach NIS responsibles from operators how to do risk assessment, how to do risk management. This is also such an important topic, because how can you talk to the manager if you don't talk to him about the risks for his institution or for his business? There's no way. I mean, this is somehow a common language that people who are responsible in these at operator level for the implementation of NIS, this is a language that they need to learn how to speak in order to be able to communicate inside their entities. So we are again very much focused on this. As I was saying, we are trying to identify what the needs are and how we can intervene there. I mentioned awareness earlier, and this is a topic I would dare say better than I do in terms of the project of Siguranța Online, which is dedicated
cooperation with police department and RB, really well, yes, and not on the last, but universities and academic area and embassies are involved here. Swiss embassy, I can mention. It's about prevention, but not only about prevention. How could react? How could report? How could call? How could ask? How could teach? One of two others, and it's a great project.
Because we have to become, as a society, we have to become cyber literate, let's say. And last but not least, because I know time is running out, I will just say once more that the directorate is hiring. We are growing the team on all its levels, from technical to risk assessment, I was mentioning, and to cooperation and so on, strategy, communication. So for everyone, I would just say, on the website, there are the ads on LinkedIn as well. So we hope that we will be able to get as many people willing to work on this topic for the whole of Romanian society. Okay, so I'll stop here. Thank you.
Yes. No, it's not neat at all. Yes, the community becomes stronger and stronger, and not only because of Romanian Banks Association, or because of Cloud Security Alliance Romanian chapter, or because of other institutions, but because of ourselves, involvement of each of us, involvement. Private company, institution, governmental institutions, and not only, and normal people, usual people, students, high school people. We know that in 2019, Romania won European Cybersecurity Championships, and part of that team was a 17 years old member. Amazing Romanian team. So if you please, if somebody wants to add something, to say something, now you have the opportunity before to close the meeting.
I think I remember No, please.
I would like to congratulate the directorates and Alina for the vision and the energy in securing. Is clear. The directorates, CyberInt probably are the institutions, one of the best in Europe or world. And I hope all others to follow and to be capable to learn from these institutions. Are example of state institutions that can be professional and to prove something. Are real bears again, cyber threats, can say.
Yes, National Cybersecurity Directorate, Cyber Division from Intelligence Romanian Services, ISACA, to not forget about ISACA, about CEO Council, about
About
NCCC.
CIO Council,
CIO Council, yes.
We are having our annual conference, so it is yet time to enroll for online presence. Will be at National Bank of Romania with limited number of seats, but online can everyone is invited to be together with us tomorrow for our yearly event.
Thank you so much, Călin. Please, Sergiu.
Just wanted to say something about these young guys, like this 17-year-old cyber expert.
And USA, and 12 years old USA, Romanian roots, participated not in competition, but was there in 2019 and was amazing.
Yes, but what I remember is it's that he was the only one holding the offensive security OSCP certification before being 18, which is not easy to take. This certification, it's not 24 hours exam of hacking. So he was great. I was teaching in a high school. He was part of a robots club or something like that in a high school at that time. What I wanted to say is that I've seen the young people. I have also 3 kids, so I've seen that they are more concerned about privacy, and they take more on how they protect themselves on internet and so on. So it's a hope in the future. Or maybe not only artificial intelligence, but human intelligence will prevail in the future. Okay, so as Călin said, we should rely also on humans in the future. So let's hope.
You know, I received one question 2-3 weeks ago. If the imagination of artificial intelligence will be touched by human intelligence, and actually will be a competition between imagination of human brain, human race, and slowly of artificial intelligence, which is not anymore science fiction, but you know, become very real, and it's now here.
Yes, but let's challenge this a little bit. I've read the paper with contributors from all major players that provide AI solutions, meaning private organizations like Google and also universities. I forgot the name of the paper, but it was a debate there, and they said that in a few years from now, something like, if I remember, 70% or something of the data used to train AI will be generated synthetically by AI. So So if
just what I said to said to Călin before.
So that there is no hope here because AI will train itself. Okay, so we need to find some places in some caves. But anyway, let's don't stop like this this session.
Maybe will appear an AI to what's the plant in the wallpaper of Mircea there because.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to add here on what Alina just said that if people are deterred by the threat of cybersecurity resilience, then I would say here to tell them this. You know, Romania, unfortunately, takes the first place in car accidents. And
not only, but about
same
Romania.
As yeah, but let's say that we could, if we apply the same logic, then we should not wear seatbelts anymore. Because anyway, we are on the first place and there is a high risk probability of having an accident. Why should I wear a seatbelt? Why should I have a car with airbags and so on? So this is a false logic that should not apply to companies and individuals. Even if we are not 100% safe, that does not mean that we should not wear seatbelts and buy cars with airbags.
The same saying is the locks are not for thieves, are for normal peoples. But normal people must use it. Mihai?
I think my message is embrace the new technology because it's out there and it's ready to help. It was a discussion about responsibility inside organizations, and you know, if some organization will be attacked, in the end of the day, who will respond to? I guess
really interesting. Who will respond if more than one company will be under attack, or 1,000 of companies will be under attack? Who will respond at the end of the day? I think that is a good question for the next hour session. Alina?
Well, I just want to say
perhaps answer the question.
I will actually. I was just about to answer the question. We've heard this quite a number of times, like who will answer if there's a cyber incident in an organization, like not national, worldwide, and so on. And as I'm sure everyone in this panel knows, the idea is to bring more and more responsibility towards the management. Because otherwise, without management involvement and without management feeling the pressure, and also I'm talking the pressure of the law, having them have responsibility in this, I think without this, there is no way of moving this forward. So with the NIS2 directive, there's going to be a great push in responsibilizing management and not have management look towards the IT or cybersecurity people and say, you know, something happened, it's your fault, it's not my problem. So I think this is absolutely how can I put this, essential. And we will focus at the directorate quite a bit on finding ways in order to make management be more aware of their responsibilities, because this is without this we cannot have cybersecurity at all. And I'm sure that everyone who has tried to raise the level of cybersecurity in an organization knows full well that you cannot have, the procedures in place, you cannot have a good use of technology, you cannot have people do their job unless management is supportive of all that. And in the end, I want to say that we do know at the directorate that there are a lot of expectations from us, and we are trying to respond and to understand and to respond to the needs that we see from the entities, different types of entities in Romania. So we're, as I was saying, we have, as our director likes to say, we have a small and dynamic team, but we are hoping that it's going to be a bigger and more dynamic, an even more dynamic team. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I want to say thank you, all of you. Alina Urs, represent National Cybersecurity Directorate. Călin Rangus, your Council Vice President and President of the Chamber of Commercial diplomacy with the Swiss Confederation, Sergio Zaharia, Director Cyber Strategy Advisory, Deloitte, Romania. Mihai Doana, Regional Sales Manager, Palo Alto Networks, and Sebastian Cochinescu, CEO, Tilepath. And to all who choose to join us in this afternoon and I think to spread our message to others.